The bottom, the back row is.
We were shining brightly.
They're shining.
We're shining.
There's serious shining going on there.
Yeah, they're still shining.
I
They're still
know, I
shining.
hear back there.
Uh-oh, laughing in church syndrome.
So I'm briefly going to tell you that my family would never go to church except on Christmas Eve, and that was a blessing to me because they would do exactly what's happened in the back row. And as good as Memorial Day, because my mother was there and my husband. And my husband was like the ringleader of the laughter. And my mother would be going, which only set them off. So just carry on back there. Carry on.
Laughter is God.
Yes, that's true. It's the most, what is it? How does it go? Well, anyway. So here's what I want to say, is that Hans Christian Andersen said, a human life is a story told by God. So that's what we're talking about here today. As far as Memorial Day goes, as far as remembering goes, it's the stories of the lives of ourselves in relation to the people that have made their transition. So I'm going to start right off with the tears because I want to share with you a reading by Isabel Allende in This I Believe. So she says, I have lived with passion and in a hurry, trying to accomplish too many things. I never had time to think about my beliefs until my 28-year-old daughter Paula fell ill. She was in a coma for a year, and I took care of her at home until she died in my arms, December of 1992. During that year of agony and the following year of my grieving, everything stopped for me. There was nothing to do, just cry and remember. However, that year also gave me an opportunity to reflect upon my journey and the principles that hold me together. Let me read that sentence again. That year also gave me an opportunity to reflect upon my journey and the principles that hold me together. I discover that there is consistency in my beliefs, my writings, and the way I lead my life. I have not changed. I am still the same girl I was 50 years ago, and the same young woman I was in the 70s. I still lust for life. I am still ferociously independent. I still crave justice, and I fall madly in love easily. Paralyzed and silent in her bed, my daughter Paula taught me a lesson that is now my mantra. You only have what you give. You only have what you give. It's by spending yourself that you become rich. It is by spending yourself that you become rich. Paula led a life of service. She worked as a volunteer, helping women and children 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. She never had any money, but she needed very little. When she died, she had nothing, and she needed nothing. During her illness, I had to let go of everything: her laughter, her voice, her grace, her beauty, her company. and finally her spirit. When she died, I thought I'd lost everything. But then I realized I still had the love I had given her. I don't even know if she was able to receive that love. She could not respond in any way. Her eyes were somber pools that reflected no light. But I was full of love. And that love keeps growing and multiplying and giving fruit. The pain of losing my child was a cleansing experience. I had to throw overboard all excess baggage and keep only what was essential. Because of Paula, I didn't cling to anything. Now, I like to give much more than to receive. I am happier when I love than when I am loved. I adore my husband, my son, my grandchildren, and my mother, my dog, and frankly, I don't even know if they like me. But who cares? Loving them is my joy. Give, give, give. What is the point of having experience, knowledge, or talent if I don't give it away? Of having stories if I don't tell them? Of having wealth if I don't share it? I don't intend to be cremated with any of it. It is in the giving that I connect with others, with the world, and with the divine. It is in giving that I feel the spirit of my daughter inside me, like a soft presence. Isn't that beautiful? It just brings me to tears. So here's the thing. The death of a loved one is always about us. And it's about an opportunity to reflect on our own beliefs. What we find of value that we can pass on. What is it that gives meaning to our life? What is it that gave meaning to their lives? That's really the thing. Is analyzing what we stand for. What is the legacy that we're leaving? What do we want to be remembered for? That's the whole idea and the whole concept. We never lose the people that we love. But it gives us an opportunity to reach into our own life and decide what the legacy that we want to leave behind, what the meaning that we want our lives to be about. What is it that we have come here to give? What is the story that God is telling through us? So as we remember ourselves in relationship to those people that we love, in relationship to the people that we love here and now in the present, and what it is that is going to be our legacy when we make our transition. What are we leaving behind? What are we giving? Because as Isabel says, none of it makes any difference. We're not going to be taking any of it with us. It is only the recollection, the spirit and the memory of our lives. That's the value of Memorial Day. That's the value of remembering. The gift that those that we love have left behind for us, and the time and the opportunity to take a look at our own lives and what we stand for. What's our story? What are we going to leave behind? How is the death of those that we love going to be memorialized in our own lives? So, I'm just thinking here, listening. When my husband died, and my mother died, the way I could make meaning out of that was to become a minister. And you don't need to know the thought process that went behind that, but that was the only way I could give meaning to their lives. And when I make my transition, who knows what my children are going to be doing to make meaning of my life. I know now that they ridicule me a lot. I am the brunt of their jokes. I don't know how many of you have had that experience with your children, but they always laugh at you. I know, it was just like, oh my gosh. And I do that here with my mother too. I make fun of my mother a lot, knowing that she is loving it. So taking a look at our lives then, and then thinking, with whom do I need to make amends? There was to me, a very sad story following 9/11, that a woman had, she lost her son in 9/11, and they had an argument about who he was in relationship with. And so he died before she had an opportunity to heal that. So at this time, when we think about Memorial Day, when we think about remembering those that have gone before, it is also a reminder to us to clean our backyard, to make amends with whoever we need to make amends with, to heal whatever kind of relationship that is out of harmony. Because, to use the cliche, we never know. And I, for one, do not want to ever leave behind that kind of unfinished distress or disturbance. I don't want anybody I love to leave, or that I care about, without healing and mending any kind of relationship issues. I want to be in harmony. I want my life to have been a good story for God, and I want to be in harmony, at peace with those that I leave behind. So those are the kinds of remembering and the kinds of issues that come up for us around Memorial Day. To think of those that we love and know that we did the best that we could to stand in love for them, to give their life meaning by our lives, to be totally in harmony with all, There's another quote that I want to share with you by Henry Scott Holland. And he says, "Death is nothing at all. I have only slipped away to the next room. I am I, and you are you. Whatever we were to each other, that we still are. Call me by my old familiar name. Speak to me in the easy way which you always used. Put no difference in your tone, wear no forced air of solemnity. Thank you, or sorrow. Laugh as we've always laughed at the little jokes we enjoyed together. Play, smile, think of me. Pray for me. Let my name be ever in the household word that it always was. Let it be spoken without effect, without the trace of a shadow on it. Life means all that it ever meant. It is the same that it ever was. There is absolute, unbroken continuity. Why should I be out of mind because I am out of sight? I am waiting for you for an interval, somewhere, very near, just around the corner. All is well. Nothing is past. Nothing is lost. One brief moment, and all will be as it was before, only better. Infinitely happier. And forever, we will all be together with spirit." That's what Henry Scott Holland had to say. I think that we can always communicate with those that have made their transition and get some kind of answers in unexpected ways. I've told this story before, but I'm going to tell you again because I kind of like it. I had occasion to have in cash $150. And I got food poisoning and I misplaced it or something. And I looked everywhere. I turned my house upside down looking for that $150 in cash. I went through all of my clothes, I went through all of my pockets, I went through all of my purses. I looked in all of the places that I'd ever hidden money from anyone in the family. I looked in the places that I had never thought to hide money from the family. I looked everywhere. And during that time, there were these little weird things that would happen. For instance, I found a star just laying in the middle of the living room floor, and there was no, like a little wooden star, there was no reason, there was no explanation for why that star was there. It was very odd. So I was folding clothes, doing the laundry, and I was folding clothes, and I looked over and there was a photo of my husband. And I said, "Okay, James Edward, where have you put the money?" And then I went to the washer to change that load of clothes into the dryer. And there was that $150. It was though I had had this conversation. He said, "Okay, game's up." And I turned and there it was. Now I don't know. There are those that would say, what an interesting coincidence. I don't believe that is the truth at all. That was so much like him. to hide my $150 from me and go. So I have had conversations with him. When he first died, there was a lot of telephone calls that were, nobody was there. And then that kind of stopped. So one day I said to him, you know, I haven't gotten a phone call from you in a long time. And the phone rang, and there was nobody there. So something's going to happen now pretty soon because I'm having this conversation about him, and he's going to go, ha, 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 ha. But let's just think about Holland's concept that there's no difference. He's right here. He's listening to me. And he will seek his retribution. Because that's the kind of guy he was. We can all have those conversations. That veil is ever so thin. There's one last quote I want to share with you by someone unknown. It says, perhaps they are not stars. Perhaps they are not stars. Rather openings in heaven where the love of lost ones pour through and shine down upon us. So let us know that they are happy. I really like that idea. Although I don't believe that those that I have lost are so far away as the stars, I think I bump into them. I think I see them out of the corner of my eye. I think they're present. And they kid me a lot. Just like my children do. So as we move into the Memorial Weekend, just allowing ourselves that sort of space to clarify what our beliefs are, what we stand for, to make value in the memory of those that we love that have transitioned, to give their life purpose as we give our own life purpose. To live the story of God that we were created to tell. We have been blessed in so many ways by the legacy of those that have left us. It's our job to make amendments, to make meaning of our lives, to clarify our beliefs. To leave a legacy in the story of Spirit of God as told through us. So I love you all. I wish you God's good story. Namaste. So I would invite Kathy, our practitioner of the day, our go-to practitioner today, to hold the consciousness.
We do have 6 practitioners.
Yes, it's the holiday. It's the
That's
Memorial
right.
holiday. So join with me as I turn within. As I allow myself to become aware of that unifying essence that is everywhere present, in the seen and the unseen. in the known and the unknown. It's all God. And I know that I am part of that. All that I am is God. I'm not all of God, but all that I am is God expressing uniquely. I am the story of God. And as that's true for me, I know it is also true for each one of us. You and me, and the 7.5 billion other people on this planet. All of the trees and the plants and the stars. We're God's story. So at this moment, I allow myself to be present to the story that I was brought here to tell. And anything that is standing in the way of that, any false beliefs, any illusions of illness, any illusions of sadness, any illusions of discord, have no power, because it's all God. And so at this moment, I stand at the point of creation. I stand at the point of cause, knowing that it must unfold in perfection. Because my thoughts are creative, my words are creative. Because your thoughts are creative, your words are creative. We are all here at cause, creating for ourselves and for those that we love and that are around us. Lives that are worth telling the story of. So I call forth that sense of peace, that sense of unity, that sense of calm, that sense of love that is divine. So I give thanks for it right this moment. I know that it is perfect. Even when I don't understand it, even when I make judgments about it not being perfect, the truth of the matter, it is all perfect. It is all unfolding in perfection. Because it's all God and it's all good. And so I just give thanks for it. I get myself out of the way and I allow God. I declare it done. And I invite you to own that with me by saying with me, and so it is.